Bend the knee. Violent Magolas, everybody. It's Don Willie back again for another edition of Ice and Fire Opinions. And, glad to be back on my regular day and time. And so glad to have folks with me in the chat. As always, let's do the roll call for my people out there in the chat. So, who do we got with me? We got my man Ricky Hunt, Hell Hydra. Even though I'm wearing, this Shield t-shirt, the Batman hat, crazy. I'm all over the place with the comic book reference today. Of course, my man Frank from Way Off Topic Radio. My girl Alicia Kingston, A.K. Lord Commander. What's poppin'? Got my man Tony, Lord of Last Hearth. We got Ion Throne. We got when Debo breaks down the door. That's a real dangerous situation when Debo breaks down the door. You already know what it is. And let's see here. We just check on the YouTubes to see if there's anybody else. Oh, my man, Clay Springer. Clay Springer, what's good, man? We gotta link up and try to do something. It's been so long since I've done, an edited video or had anybody on the channel. I gotta, find something to do to, incorporate, more people in here, as I like to do. So. Let's get into it. It's funny. Somebody's calling me right now. And since I don't know who it is, they get no answer. And they should already know, 8 o'clock on Thursday, you don't call me. You don't ever call me 8 o'clock Thursday night, because I'm doing this. Shout out to Sean Land, who just entered. Yeah, so let's talk about Arya of House Stark. So, we know Arya as the younger sister of Robb, Jon, and Sansa, older sister to Bran and Rickon. Her direwolf was Nymeria. She is the wild child of the Stark clan, and it's funny because she, out of all of Catelyn's children, she is the only one that has any Stark resemblance. The rest of them all look like Tullys. And Catelyn is kind of dismayed by this fact because Jon is the only male in that whole family that looks like a Stark. And, it's part of the reason why she hated Jon so much. But talk about Johnny Boy some other time. If I haven't already talked about him already. I don't know. I've done so many of these that I forget which characters I have done from time to time. But, Arya is very interesting because she takes a lot after her aunt Lyanna, even though she never met her. A lot of people, especially Ned, Ned especially, and a couple of people around Winterfell have stated how much she looked like Lyanna when she was younger. And, it's one of those things where she also takes after traits of being a little more impulsive, a little more free-spirited, headstrong. Whereas you have her sister Sansa, who's a proper lady. She renamed her direwolf lady. Oh, shout out to Kat, who just came in as well. And, Jayon Calrissian was popping. So, Arya, when we get introduced to her, she is, well, in the show at least, because, listen, for those of you out there, I've said this like 10 trillion times, I was a show watcher before I got into the books. And when we get introduced to Arya in the show, she's in sewing class with Sansa, totally hates it, and she goes out, she upstages Brandon, young Bran, with her archery. And later on, she actually in season 7, she goes to recount the story of how she kind of got into archery, where she was doing it on her own, and when she, finally she got to however many shots, and she didn't realize that Ned was watching her until she actually hit the bullseye, and then she said she heard. So when we see her in episode 1, supposedly she had been doing it for a little while before episode 1 actually happened, and this was just another instance of her kind of having a little fun at Bran's expense, and kind of bucking social norms. And I don't know who the hell that was, but I gotta. God damn it! Sorry, can't be having people interrupting the stream, sending messages and stuff. No good. Oh, shout out to I See Spots. So, we also have, her getting Needle from Jon a little later on, right before he's about to go to the Wall and she's about to go to King's Landing. And the funny thing is, in the show, the sword is a lot more reminiscent of a rapier than in the books. The books, the sword is described as having a dual edge. It's your regular kind of standard longsword looking thing, but it's just made a lot smaller. It's made more in the style of a practice sword, or something that you would give to a child that wanted to practice, but it has an edge on it, as opposed to it just being a practice sword. So it was like when I found that out, I thought it was that it was interesting that they made the choice to turn it into a different kind of sword, versus what it was in the books. Now maybe they couldn't get it done in time, and that's just what the design they went with, because remember in season 1 they actually had a much smaller budget than they did in subsequent seasons. But I would have actually liked to see the book version of the sword on screen. Don't get me wrong, I like Needle, the one they have in the show now, but there were certain fight scenes that her having the other sword would have made a lot more sense. So, it is what it is. Now, jeez. Where was I going to pick up at? Alright, so, a lot of the season 1 events and book 1 events, are pretty much one-to-one translation. There's the scuffle that she has with Joffrey, where she has to send Nymeria off, which was a sad, very, very sad moment, because the direwolf obviously has no idea the kind of danger that she's in. All she was doing was protecting her owner, as she was supposed to be doing. And for Arya to realize the kind of danger and to have to make the decision to send her away, but not just send her away, she had to really hurt her to send her away. It wasn't just, okay, leave and she goes. She had to throw a rock at her, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of dogs. Like anybody that knows me knows I'm not a huge fan of dogs. I don't hate dogs and want to see them all die or anything, but I'm not the biggest fan of dogs myself. But I do have a soft spot in my heart for animals. Period. So to see any animal be treated badly to me, it kind of gets me in the feels. In the feels. So to see that happen was absolutely heartbreaking. So I definitely though like the fact that they Maisie Williams, even though Maisie Williams looks absolutely nothing like the description of Arya in the books, I think Maisie Williams does a great job of conveying that sense of free spirited, youthful angst. That's all about like, look, you're not gonna tell me what to do and who I'm gonna be in life. I love that about Arya. Um, absolutely do love that about Arya. And this is before she takes her super dark turn, and we're gonna get into that. Because the dark turns that she have taken are kind of disturbing, to say the least. And shout out to my man, White Privilege. And if you can't see, I don't think you can see his avatar on screen, but this sums up perfectly the white privilege that he's talking about. So yeah, don't leave all kinds of crazy comments in my comments section with no political shit, man. Keep that somewhere else. And oh wow, this is awesome. So I can actually see how many views. I got 13 people watching right now. So make sure to get those likes up. It helps out the channel and the video a lot. All right? Oh, and Sir LT Giles. What's going on, my brother? So Arya goes on a very tumultuous journey, after the death of her father. Well, not even just after the death of her father. Really, it starts with the coup in King's Landing, where her father is arrested. Now, what's not really conveyed in the show, but is definitely conveyed in the books, is that Arya spent about a month on her own in King's Landing, avoiding the Gold Cloaks, avoiding Lannister soldiers, avoiding spies, even. Because, with Arya being a member of such a prominent house, and the fact that, at the time anyone knew that, before anyone knew that Ned Stark was going to be executed, it's one of those things where it's like, all right, well, cool, we got Sansa already, we got Arya, we can use them as hostages, and it'll be leverage to get the North to bend the knee and come back into the fold, and we'll just send Ned to the wall. And Arya could have been a valuable bargaining chip, but without Arya, it put a few things in play, because if Arya winds up dead, there's a possibility you don't get Ned to go along with the plan, and there's also a possibility that you don't get Robb to go along with the plan. So they had to lie to Robb and say, oh, we got Arya. They lied to Ned, said, oh yeah, we got Arya. And they even lied to Kat. Peter Baelish lied to her, a little later, and was kind of like, oh yeah, nah, she's still Arya. Still as free spirited as ever. So, Arya being on her own actually messed up a lot of plans for a lot of different people. And damn it, I gotta stop using Firefox because I still keep on getting these damn notifications about YouTube videos. It's ridiculous. Shout out to DJ. Anyway, so yeah, so Arya was out there for about a month. Now, like again, in the show, it didn't really convey how long she had been out there, but in the books, it talks about how she's looking for food and constantly ducking people because she's still not 100% sure what happened. She know that things have went bad. She had to kill that one kid who was going to turn her into Cersei. And, she's constantly like remembering from her training, her, you know, killing pigeons or whatever. That's how she's been surviving basically, is killing pigeons and eating them, or stealing bread, or doing whatever it is that she had to do because she didn't have any money on her. But she remembers enough of Serial Pharrell's training to get her by, and that was you got to think about it. At the time, she's supposedly like between 8 and 10 years old. So imagine now that you have this girl who's in a feudalistic society, and she's come from an aristocratic family where she's never had to fend for herself, and now here she is trying to evade capture from another very powerful family and possibly try to find her way back home and still be able to just survive on a day-to-day basis. So I mean, like just think about how powerful that is. You know, and shout out to Felicia Alana who just entered the building. Yeah, but that is super powerful to think about. In terms of the fact that she was able to do that, where a lot of people probably would not have been able to survive. Sansa would have been dead within the first couple of hours, if not just captured and held hostage. Sansa would have been dead. So you got to give a lot of credit to her. Bran probably would have been dead. Uh, Jon Snow probably would have been a captive. Robb, it's hard to tell with young Robbie there. But Sansa, I think probably, I mean not Sansa, but Arya survived because she's the only one that could have. So you gotta definitely give props where they are deserved. Now let's go back to the whole Serial Pharrell thing real quick, and I know I'm jumping kind of all over the place with this, but you know we just gotta talk about how she was able to survive, and a lot of that was due to her training with Serial Pharrell. So Serial Pharrell had her chasing cats and chasing chickens and whatever other animals that are very hard for most human beings to capture, to develop her skills not only with capture but with evasion. And then there's the whole fight training, obviously water dancing and learning that sort of sword play. You also have her being observational, her learning how to see people's movements, to be able to spot, like, okay, this person is saying this, but his body language says that he's going to do something different, and her picking up those skills from Serial Pharrell was how she was able to survive that entire length of time before she ran into Yoren with the whole thing with the Night's Watch. Because if she didn't have those skills, again, she would have either been dead or a prisoner. Or, who knows? I mean, her being a young girl in King's Landing and with some of the depravities that we've seen go on, she might have been violated in some very horrible ways. So, very glad to see that not happen. So, after the death of her father at the hands of Sir Ilyn Payne, she goes with Euron to try to go back to Winterfell on his way to the wall. She meets up with a few people who wind up at first trying to bully her, but she turns the tables on them and eventually actually becomes friends with a couple of these people. And this is the introduction that we get to Lamy Greenhands, Hot Pie, and of course everyone's favorite rowing blacksmith, Gendry. Well, this wasn't the introduction of Gendry, but it's the first time that we actually really get to see him interact with anybody. And so it's one of those things where, this helps to round out her character. And this is the first time now where we get to see her use an alias. So the alias she uses is Ari, which isn't far from her name. Anyway, and it's funny, I actually, like, for my job, I met a guy whose name was Arya. Spelled the same exact way, too. It was the weirdest thing. I was like, are you trolling me right now? Really? Your name is Arya. Okay. Had absolutely no idea what Game of Thrones was. Never heard of it a day in his life. that was, like, yeah, couldn't even, that's just one of those weird coincidences. Crazy thing. So, we get, like I said, we get the introduction to all this cast of characters. They're on their way to the wall, and another great introduction that we get during this time, which is very pivotal, is the introduction to Jaqen H'ghar of the Faceless Men. Now, at the time, it is not known who he is because in the show and the books, he's kind of shrouded in mystery. All we know is that he kind of talks a little funny or whatever. But we don't know who he is. We don't know what he's about. We just know he was a prisoner in the Black Cells, along with two very despicable characters known as Rorg and Biter, who we also get introduced to. And man, those two need to die very horrible deaths. Yeah, very very horrible deaths. They should die. So yeah, she is surrounded by a very colorful cast of characters. So we get her journey trying to get to the wall. Euron is stopped by Lannister soldiers who are looking for Gendry because Joffrey has ordered the slaughter of all of Robert's bastards. And, there's the fight that ensues after they come back with Amory Lorch and some other Lannister soldiers. Amory Lorch hems them up, takes them to Harrenhal, where Arya is sent to work in the kitchens. And this is part of where the story starts to diverge. So, again, Arya is becoming resourceful. She works in the kitchens there. And she helps to get the Boltons. Again, the Boltons, and I believe it's Glover soldiers that to get them so they can take over Harrenhal and basically kill off the Lannister soldiers. And then later on, it's left to the brave companions, and she's able to escape with the help of Jack and Hagar. And after this is when Jack and Hagar is like, hey, look, if you want to learn to do what I do, you can take this coin and give it to any man from Braavos and just say the words Valar Morghulis, and he will take you to where I learned how to do all this crazy shit that you saw me do. And in the show, it's different because in the show, she has an interaction with Tywin Lannister. And there are not too many things that I agree with that I think the show has done better than the books. But in this one instance, well, there might be a couple, but this is one of the few instances that I think that they did a great job with the interactions between Tywin Lannister and Arya. Because while Tywin is kind of giving away all this information about himself and the things he plans on doing, he has no idea that he has a very valuable hostage sitting right here and is his cupbearer. He has absolutely no idea about this, and it is awesome. And shout out to I'm sorry, Bernie the Burnt, who just came in, and also Anthony Vasquez. So, this was one of the few things that I think was done that I prefer over the books, was this particular instance, because it's one of those things that Tywin is so close to kind of possibly wrapping up the war just a little bit by having Arya right there, and he has no idea. The most he can tell is that she's highborn based off of the way that she speaks. But he's like, okay, obviously she's a highborn girl from the north, but maybe she's a runaway, or her family has been displaced or ousted or something like that. And now she's a cupbearer here in the Riverlands. Okay, cool. As long as she doesn't she's not going to be able to cause me any problems anyway, so we're good. And, when Peter Baelish shows up, it's obviously a very tense moment, because I'm guessing that he is able to... I don't know, because I don't remember him having any direct... I don't remember him having any direct interaction with Arya. So I don't know that he would recognize her, or that he should recognize her, because, again, I don't remember him having any personal interactions in season 1. So, I mean, obviously, season 2, okay. No. I remember now. The hand's tourney, when Littlefinger is telling Sansa about the mountain and the Hound and how the Hound got his face burned. But other than that, man, pardon me, something flew my eye. Wow. Yeah, but other than that, I don't recall him having any other interactions with Arya. But who knows? I mean, his memory might have been good enough to remember that, that was Arya. But obviously, uh, she kind of went a little beneath his notice because he kind of glanced over like, is that who I think it is? But he didn't say anything. He didn't say anything to Tywin at all, and it was literally never mentioned in the show ever again. It wasn't said, "Hey, I thought I saw Arya Stark," and Arya never said, "Hey, Littlefinger was at Harrenhal and I saw him working with the Lannisters." It was never mentioned again. But either way, after Arya escapes from Harrenhal, her, Hot Pie, and Gendry they run into the Brotherhood Without Banners. They also have, the dealing with the Hound. The Brotherhood Without Banners pisses off Arya. And, it's different in the book and the show why she gets pissed off or whatever. But, they piss off Arya. She leaves, runs into the Hound. And then she goes on her adventures with the Hound, which was absolutely awesome as well. You cannot discount her adventures with the Hound and how much that shaped her character because, while she did have to survive on her own, there was still part of the whole thing where she was living kind of in a fantasy, thinking that things could partially go back to how they were before she had ever left Winterfell. And the Hound, was the guy who, he was the guy who kind of, broke down the wall of fantasy for her. He was the guy that was like, look, no. All of that shit that you've been taught, everything that you thought you knew about the world is all fake. It's fake news, it's not real, and it's very sad that you believe that. And he was the one that told me, like, look, when you're out here in the field and it's just you and your wits against all of humanity, this is what you're having to deal with. You're robbing people, you're killing people, you're deceiving people in order to eat. This is what you're dealing with. And again, this helped her development in order to be able to survive. Now in the show, the Hound is injured, running into Rourke and Biter, and then later on, he's almost killed by Brienne of Tarth. In the books, that bar fight that he got into with the Lannister men was the thing that kind of left him incapacitated. He had a wound that festered, and it just, he was just pretty much done for after a while. And she decides to leave him, but not without taking his money first, which was kind of crazy. She was just like, "Oh, wait, no, I'm not going to kill you. I'm not going to give you the gift of mercy, but yoinks, take that." Now, this was, after after her thinking that she was going to be able to go back to her family. She thought she was going to meet up with Rob and her mother, and unfortunately, she sees the aftermath of the Red Wedding. You know, she she came in kind of just as the slaughter was happening. You know, and luckily for her, because the Hound decided to intervene, she happened to survive that. Because had she said the wrong thing being there, she would have been dead. Because as you can see, that you know the phrase "we're taking no prisoners," especially if your last name is Stark. If your last name was Stark, you were dead. And shout out to Tyrion Jr. Lance Stark. Yeah, but you know, it's one of those things where it's like, damn, okay. Here you have Arya, who um almost was able to prove the Hound wrong about all he was saying about the world being so bad. And nope, nope. She has the absolute worst experience of her life. Now, in the midst of all this, though, she's been having wolf dreams. And for whatever reason, they decided that the only person in the show who would have the genetically inherited Stark warging ability, the only person who had that was Bran and Rickon. Now it's funny because they had the scene in season one with Rickon with the warging and the green sight, and then after that, and they let Bran be the only warg. So in the books, she starts to have wolf dreams, and after the Red Wedding, she actually has a wolf dream. She walks into Nymeria and pulls Catelyn's body out of the trident. So, you know, in a way, she is partially the reason why her mom becomes Lady Stoneheart. And speaking of Stonehearts, there is another thing that happened while she was with the Brotherhood Without Banners, and this is something that didn't make it to the show. But the Brotherhood Without Banners, while they're roaming the Riverlands, meet up with a character called the Ghost of High Heart. Now, Ghost of High Heart is a kind of mysterious figure that doles out prophecies. And when she meets up with Arya, uh, she talks about how uh, that she gorged on grief at Summerhall, and you know, how dare you come here to me with all your grief, and you know, and talks about how she is going to basically be a killer. And she calls her a name, and I'm not sure if I did the theory video on this. Maybe I need to if I haven't done it already. But she calls her the name Darkheart. And so my theory on this one, super quick, is that Arya will become a legendary assassin known as Darkheart. You know, because I don't think that was put in there for no reason. Left out of the show. I thought it would have been an awesome scene to have, but you know, it is what it is. So, you know, after her ordeal with the Hound, and deciding that she is going to take a different route, because she could have went north. She could have continued north. I'm pretty sure she had enough money to buy a horse after taking the Hound's money. But she decides to go to Braavos instead. She still had the coin from Jack and Hagar, and she's like, all right, I'm going to go to the house. Well, I'm going to go to Braavos and find out what the deal is with this whole thing. Now, funny thing about her trip to Braavos, and this is another thing, it's a cultural thing about the show, or a cultural thing about Braavos that they left out of the show. And it's specifically cultural to the Faceless Men. Now, for those of you who are show watchers only, in Braavos, or no, not even just in Braavos, but in the Faceless Men, you are not allowed to kill somebody if you know who they are, and specifically if you know them by name. So there was a scene when Arya arrives in Braavos, or like just as they're approaching Braavos, where like all of the guys on the ship are telling her their names and like, remember my name, my name is such and such, my name is this, that, and the third. And she is thinking, oh, these guys are just being extra nice. It's like, I wonder why they're being so nice to me. Wow, everybody wants me to remember who they are. Wow, that's cool, man. These guys are awesome. They want to be my friend. And it's not till later on when she starts to find out the rules of the Faceless Men, where it's just like, oh, that's why you told me that. Okay, you bastards. So let's move on to the Faceless Men training, because yeah, it's different in the show than it is in the books, in many regards. So I'm going to talk about the book version first. So when she goes to the House of Black and White, the doors open up. She's like, hey, yeah, this guy Jack and Hagar sent me with this coin, Valor Morghulis and all that, and they're like, yeah, we don't know no damn Jack and Hagar. That name doesn't ring a bell. She's like, well, he's one of you. He gave me this coin, and at first, they slammed the door in her face, and she stays there and is like, I'm not leaving, I'm not leaving, I'm not leaving. So finally, guy comes back again, and there's like, he takes off his hood and reveals that the face that he has under the hood, because she couldn't see his face the first time, but when he takes off the hood, it's a skull with a worm coming out of it, and she's just like, she hasn't eaten in a couple of days at this point, so she just takes the damn worm out of the dude's eye and eats it, and then the skull turns into an ugly old man, which they call the Kindly Man. And I had absolutely no idea what kindly meant until like later. I forgot what it was that I was reading, and finally I saw that the word kindly meant ugly. I'm like, okay, that's a polite way of saying ugly. Okay, cool. So if anyone ever tells you that you have a kindly face, you have just been insulted. So, she goes through the training and learns about all of this different stuff. You have the waif there. There are other acolytes who are there, who are supposedly learning the ways of the Faceless Men. She sent on some different missions, and it's stuff that she has to learn in order to become a proper Faceless Man. And she's told, like, look, you got to give up everything who you are in order to really be down with this. And at first she's unwilling to give up anything, but finally she gives up everything and tosses that into the bay or wherever it is, except for Needle, which he, hides under like a stack of rocks or whatever. So, very resourceful on her part. Uh, you know, one of those things that it's like, all right, well, you can tell she's still holding on to who she is. Now, an awesome little kind of Easter egg thing that I don't know how many people picked up on when they read the books is the fact that she runs in a Samwell Tarly, but it's in a Samwell Tarly chapter. And since Sam has absolutely no idea who she is, he's just thinking, oh, it's some girl, oh, she wound up here from Westeros. Because he's telling her lie. Like, she realizes, okay, this is a dude from the Night's Watch. And she's thinking to herself, like, probably thinking to herself, like, why is this dude from the Night's Watch here in Braavos? Because the Night's Watch is supposed to be at the wall. So Sam, starts telling her, kind of his story about who he is and why he's in Braavos, and she, in her practicing her different identities, like, oh, I'm Cat. Yeah, my father was a fisherman or something like that, and my mom died, and that's why I'm here selling these clams and oysters and all that, and do you want any? And it was just like the weirdest, like if you go back and read that chapter, it's like the weirdest little exchange. And especially because, like, once you realize who it is, it's just absolutely hilarious that she's feeding Sam this bogus ass story, and Sam is just like, oh wow, bro, yeah, that's cool. Oh man, it's kind of messed up. You here by yourself, but glad to see nobody has done anything to you. And she's like, nope, nobody is going to do anything crazy to me, not if they want to live, because she actually saved Sam from getting killed by a couple of guys in Braavos, because in Braavos only rich people wear dark colored clothing. And so since Sam is an all black, they're thinking that the dude is rich. And also he has a sword on him. And the only people who walk around at night with swords on them are people who are looking for a duel. So they're like, oh, we got this rich, pompous asshole looking for a duel. He doesn't speak Bravosi at all. And now this little girl just had to come and save him, and she explained to him, like, yo, those dudes thought you wanted to fight. They thought you were a rich, drunk dude that just came down to the slums looking to fight. And he was up to like, why the hell would they think that? It's like, oh, because you're dressed in all black and you got a sword on. And only rich people, dress in all black, and only people who are looking for a fight come out with a sword on them. So if you don't want people to think that from now on, for the rest of the time you're here, you need to go get you some different clothes, and don't ever go out at night with your sword on. You can have a knife on you if you want to protect yourself, but never a sword. So that was kind of an interesting little tidbit there. Now there's the point in the show and in the books where she loses her sight, and it's kind of for the same reason, but not for the same reason. She killed someone that she wasn't supposed to, but it wasn't the same kill. So Sam goes with Sam, Gilly, Eamon, and I forgot what the other guy's name is, are all in Braavos. And it's the other dude who was like, look, man, we here fucking, fuck all this taking the black shit, man. Fuck all these Night's Watch vows. We here in Braavos, so who's gonna come and look for us? And he's like, yo, I'm out of the Night's Watch. He beats up Sam. He beats up Sam and tosses Sam into the canal or whatever. and Sam gets pulled out um, by the people who were from the ship that brought them there, the Cinnamon Wind or whatever, right? And Arya kind of overhears the dude in the bar talking about how, like, yeah, man, I was part of the Night's Watch, but fuck the Night's Watch. And her being a northerner and that being such a cultural thing to the north about how you're supposed to, keep your vow to the Night's Watch, she gets pissed off at that and she kills the dude. And because of this, and this is part of where she learns the rules about not killing people that she winds up, like, they give her this potion or whatever, and she winds up losing her sight. And what the House of Black and White doesn't realize is that because of her warging abilities, she is actually able to go into a cat. And that was the thing, that allowed her to help augment her sight was, okay, cool, I can't personally see, but I can warg into this cat. I'll keep the cat close enough to me, and the cat can be my eyes, so this way I'm not 100% blind. And she uses that to her advantage because the part of what she's supposed to do is she's supposed to find out 3 new things each day and bring them back and tell the kindly man in the House of Black and White. And when he finally, when she finally reveals to the kindly man, like, hey, I know it's you that's been beating me, like, because she'll be someplace in the House of Black and White and just randomly gets hit. Randomly. Just, she's doing her chores or whatever, or she's, about to eat or whatever, and just random whack. And she didn't know who it was until she learned about her ability to warg into this cat. And then finally, the kindly man is actually about to hit her. And she winds up hitting him first because she saw through the cat, and he had absolutely no idea. So that was awesome. And then she gets her sight back and is like, all right, look, I kind of know that you're still Arya Stark, but look, I got a mission for you. You're gonna go and do some more missions. And honestly speaking, I forgot some of the rest of that stuff. It's been a while since I read some Arya chapters, like the later chapters in the books. But I know that she winds up, going to the play, and she winds up becoming a girl called Mercy. And I believe there is a Winds of Winter chapter that I haven't read in a long time, so I don't remember all the details, but I think supposedly she has a sex scene in there, and she's supposed to kill somebody from the acting troupe. Big E, what's happening? I've been so wrapped up in talking, I didn't even see you in there, man. What's going on? It's one of those things where I gotta go back and read some of that stuff. It's not as fresh in my mind. I do remember that she did call herself Mercy, and I know it has something to do with her having to kill somebody in a mummer's troupe, which is troupe of actors. And many people have speculated that how she would get back to Westeros is by taking the place of one of the actors that she's gonna kill, which could be very interesting. Now let's go to show stuff, and then after that I will take questions. So, in the show version, she kills Meryn Trant when Meryn Trant comes to Braavos with what's the fat fool's name? Mace Tyrell. And what's the crazy thing? Okay, so is Meryn Trant couple of Lannister soldiers. They go into the brothel. Mary Trent is like, yo, I want me a young virgin, the youngest virgin that you could possibly get. It's either I don't know that she necessarily had to be a virgin, but for whatever reason he wanted to beat the girls. We didn't see him do anything sexual with the girls, but it's kind of inferred, right? But other than that, he's, whipping on them, which was the craziest thing. And so finally he gets to Arya, who's disguised as another girl, because Arya takes a face for the House of Black and White. He's whipping on her, doesn't do anything, and then finally she reveals who she is, and she's like, yo, I'm killing you basically because you killed Syrio Forel. So finally she goes back to the House of Black and White. They're like, yo, man, you aren't supposed to do that. Only death could pay for life. And Jaqen H'ghar sacrifices himself. And then that's when things get weird. Because in the show, the only two people that we get introduced to in there is Jaqen H'ghar and the Waif. The Waif absolutely does not like Arya. No way, no how. From the beginning, it's all about, how can I kick her ass and how can I kill her. That's all she does the entire time. And when the whole thing happens where Jaqen sacrifices himself, and then Arya's crying and is like, oh, that was my friend. And then next thing you know, you hear Jaqen say, oh, but he was no one. And it's just like, wait, the fuck is this happening now? Then she starts pulling off all the faces. And it's like, okay, she finally sees her face, and then she goes blind. And then the next time we see this whole setup, we got Jaqen and the Waif back again, and I'm just like, but I thought that one of them died. Where did this other one come from? So that was one of those kind of logical inconsistency things that started to happen around Arya's storyline. So then part of it too was like, okay, in order for you to kind of make amends for you killing someone without our leave, you got to go out here and beg, and that's kind of, be the blind begging girl, and that's going to kind of be your penance a little bit. So finally now, the Waif comes every day for I don't know how many days and starts, whipping on her. And then Jaqen comes and is like, hey, okay, who are you? She's like, no one. Look, if you tell me who you are, I'll let you have your sight back. I'll let you come back to the House of Black and White, all that. And for a couple of days, she's like, no, I'm no one. Waif comes back, whips her ass again. It's, this whole kind of cycle of, like, how committed to this are you? So finally, after a few days, okay, cool, you can come back in, and we'll send you out on another mission. So now they send her out on this mission to find out about killing this woman who's part of an acting troupe, and this is where she tells the woman that her name is Kat or whatever, and she finds out, okay, she's the only one that drinks this kind of drink. Cool, you gotta kill her. So she fails to kill her. She's like, hey, this girl over here wanted you dead. The Waif sees it because she's been spying on her because she's waited this whole time. And Arya kind of knows, like, okay, I fucked up a second time. The Faceless Men aren't going to give me a third. She goes, she grabs her sword, and is like, all right, cool. I'm gonna wait for the Waif to come and get me. And then again, here's where things start to get weird. Because you have Arya now And this got so weird that people thought it was a dream sequence. And at first, when I was watching the episode, I thought it was a dream sequence until it got to like the last part of the scene. So Arya is strutting around openly in Braavos, walks up to some dude and is like, "Oh, yeah, you guys are from Westeros. Cool, I'll pay you some money to take me back there." And then she's just, you know, in Braavos, chilling. Some old lady comes up to her and starts stabbing her, and it's revealed to be the waif. She jumps into the canal, then comes out on the other side somewhere, and is looking around like, "Oh my god, I got stabbed!" And I don't know which one of these people out here might be a faceless man. And I remember watching that, and at first, again, I'm looking at him like, "Oh, this is some kind of crazy dream." She Before it got to like the part where she's giving the guy the money and then standing there and then get stabbed. I'm like, "Oh, this is some crazy dream. She's gonna wake up from this and then have to go away and be on the lookout." But once she fell into the water, there was all the blood, and then she got out again and was walking around people and looking like, oh my god. I was like, "Oh wait, this is real. This should actually happen." And I remember seeing some videos with people doing crazy analysis on it, and I was like, "Oh, these people are going to be so mad next week when they find out that they were absolutely wrong." I mean, people were going back and forth like, "Look, and if you look here, and she's left-handed, and she threw with the right hand, and she did this and did that," and I'm just like, "Yo, you people are go." Obviously, if they're like, "Watch, they're gonna find out this shit is real. They're gonna be so mad. Oh, they're gonna be so mad." And sure enough, it was real, and I was sitting up there like, "Really?" Like, yo, like, this is what they really did. This shit don't make no kind of sense. She got stabbed in the stomach like 5 times. Or maybe not 5 times. The point is, she got stabbed with a knife that was like this long, and just young. I'm like, "Yo, who did you piss off in the Bing? Somebody just came through and shanked you." And I was just sitting there like, "All right, how are they going to do this?" So we get the whole scene now with her being stitched up by the actress, and I forget what the actress's name is supposed to be for the show, but it doesn't matter. So now you got the waif who rolls up as like dressed as, I mean, or like with disguised as some guy in the daytime, and I'm sitting up there like, okay, why is she disguised? Because it's not like the actress is gonna know who she is. But the crazy thing is, like, when you hear that, like, and I'm sitting up there like, "Yo, what did the wave do?" Because she looked like she was folded into the chair somehow. Oh, Alicia Kingston, thank you for helping me out. The name was Lady Crane. Um, I'm sitting up there like, okay, this shit is just weird. Cause I'm like, I don't know. I'm gonna go back and rewatch that because I'm like, how, like, what in the world did the wave do to her? That should just look weird. Um, so she was like, "Hey, well, look, the god of death was old a name, and now she's old another name, and that name is Arya Stark." Shout out to Leslie Powell. So yeah, that shit was just kind of crazy with that. So now you have Arya, who apparently has gotten Wolverine-like powers, jumps off this balcony and starts running, and the waif, dead ass, look like dude from Terminator 2. I forgot what dude's name is, man. But you go back and you look at Terminator 2 and just the style of running, and I was just like, I was thinking to myself, because remember, this is an opinion show, folks. I was thinking to myself, this shit looks so fucking ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Because you think about this, right? The Faceless Men are assassins. Assassins aren't going to go and try to kill someone in broad daylight with hundreds or possibly thousands of people watching and being able to see your face. If they're going to do it, they're going to do it in the alley. Any Faceless Man or assassin or something like that would have been like, all right, cool. Especially if your whole thing is about stealth. If your whole thing is about stealth, you let Arya do all the running she gonna do. You try to map out a way to trap her somewhere where no one is gonna see her, and then you take her out. You don't do all this extra running, chasing her through the streets or whatever, because you're giving the whole shit away now. Somebody else see you walking down the street from now on, they might know that you are part of the Faceless Men. And if they don't know you're part of the Faceless Men, it's still going to be a thing of, oh, I saw that person chasing down another girl attempting to kill her. So that shit made absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. And then let's move on to the in the dark fight scene. I'm guessing we're supposed to assume that the waif did not have that in the dark fight training. I'm guessing that's what the notion is supposed to be. Which is how Arya was able to win. And plus, did the waif have a knife on her? I think the waif did have a knife, but I guess, sword beats a knife, especially when the sword has reach. So, even though all before this, we had not seen Arya best the waif at anything, at any kind of fighting whatsoever. But, it is what it is. Finally, she goes back to the House of Black and White. She goes with the waif's face, because she didn't slice the face off. And she's like, hey, you sent her to kill me. Jaqen H'ghar is there like, yeah, but, you survived. And that's and he gives a look like, which is what I wanted. Yeah, you did a good job, kid. Great job. And she's like, all right, well, look, man, that's cool, but fuck this. I'm going back home on Arya Stark of Winterfell, goddammit. So, let's get into Season 7 Arya. So, Season 7 Arya actually started off, no, that was Season 5. Season 6, Arya finally goes back home. And the last thing that she does is kill Walder Frey. So, Season 7 Arya starts off kind of good, where, now, well, no. Before we get into Season 7 Arya, let's get into Season 6. The last thing she does in Season 6. So she kills Black Walder and is it Lothar? I don't know. Whatever Frey or whatever, right? And then bakes them into pies, taking a little bit of the Wyman Manderley story and feeds the pies to Walder Frey and kills Walder Frey, and it's like, hey, the last thing you're gonna see as you're dying is a Stark smiling. And, the look on her face. At that point, it was like, okay, she's an absolute psycho. She's an absolute psycho. This girl, there's something wrong with this girl. Oh boy, there's definitely something wrong with this girl. So finally, season 7 rolls around. We get the nice little intro where she poisons all the male Freys using Walder's face and says, hey, tell everyone who comes asking that winter came for House Frey. Awesome scene. So things started off very well for her. So after this, we get Arya going through the Riverlands. She runs into some Lannister soldiers. She's sizing them up. And as someone who knew nothing about Ed Sheeran, I was not taken out of the scene by him saying "Hands of Gold." I know there were a lot of people who complained, like, "Oh my God, they put a famous cameo in there, and now I can't fucking watch it." I'm like, man, you don't get the fuck out of here with that dumb shit. I can't watch it because someone famous was in there. Man, fuck out of here. Anyway, so it was debated. Like, I was sitting there watching, like, yo, is the next day we're gonna find out that she then slaughtered all these dudes because she just went crazy? But no, she's cool. She then goes to the inn at the crossroads, runs in the hot pie, and goddamn it, these mother effing notifications. Yeah, so she runs in the hot pie, and she's really kind of a dick to Hot Pie. She's he's like, oh, it's so cool to see you. Haven't seen you guys in a long time. I've been here by myself. And she's just like, yeah, okay, you got anything to eat? Oh, you got food? And pass that over. Alright? Get some of that too. Okay. Cool. And he's like, yeah, telling her all the story because Hot Pie got all the dirt. Apparently Hot Pie had way more of the dirt than Varys did in season 7. Oh, wait until I do the Varys video. When I do the Varys video, it's gonna be something vicious about season 7. So, she decides after listening to Hot Pie that she's gonna go back to Winterfell. On her way there, she runs into Nymeria, which, it had been speculated as to whether or not she was ever going to see Nymeria again. It was kind of a touching reunion, and this is where we get to see a lot of the callbacks. Because season 7, they did a lot of callbacks to stuff from earlier seasons. So now you have this first callback because when she sees Nymeria, she's like, "Come back with me to Winterfell, be my wolf again." And Nymeria looks at her and is like, "Bitch, you threw a rock at me." So then when Nymeria leaves, she was like, "Oh, that's not you." And this left a few people confused because some people thought that she was saying, "Oh, that's not Nymeria," like that physically wasn't Nymeria, when it was just supposed to be a callback to when she told her father, like when Ned says, "Oh, you're gonna, marry a lord and rule his castle and have his babies and all that," and she was like, "No, that's not me." So that was supposed to be a callback to that. So finally, she gets to Winterfell. There were 2 guards who are standing there with the gate wide open, and I'm sitting up here thinking to myself, okay, this seems a little ridiculous because they know about the threat with the White Walkers. Like John has already talked about the possibility of the White Walkers possibly getting past the wall, and they gotta, shore up defenses. And here they have the gate wide open. And there's two dudes who are there, and she's like, "Hey, I'm Arya Stark. I live here." And again, we get another call back to season 1, where you get the two Lannister guards who are telling Arya, "Hey, get the hell out of here! No begging." And she's like, "No, I live here. My dad's the hand of the king. Blah blah blah." And this time around, it's her ducking and dodging, and I'm gonna get it here one way or the other. And she gets in. The guards are like, "Hey, stay here," and she's like, "Yeah, you guys are fucking idiots." She goes to the crypts of Winterfell. She sees the statue of Ned, and says to Sansa, "Oh, this looks nothing like him." I don't know. I don't know about what the rest of you guys out there think. Personally, while yes, it's not a perfect depiction of Sean Bean, if no one would have told me who that was supposed to be, if I would have just seen a picture, I would have been like, "Oh shit, okay, they did the statue of Sean Bean from Lord of the Rings." Like, if I had never known what Game of Thrones was, I would have been like, "Oh, that's interesting. I wonder why they got a statue of Boromir there." But it is what it is. Oh, shout out to Sarah Charles. So, then her and Sansa started to get into their back and forth. She learns about Littlefinger being there, and finally, Littlefinger is playing his game where he's trying to pit. Ow, sorry about that. He's trying to put the two sisters against each other, and it doesn't necessarily work, and it's only because of the brand 9000 being there with his whole "I see everything, I know everything that's ever happened. Why are you here?" And I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "Yeah, I saw you in the Riverlands. Why did you come back to Winterfell?" Oh my god! Oh. Giving me a goddamn headache. Anyway, so now she sees the letter that Sansa wrote to Robb saying, "Hey, come and bend the knee. Your father's a traitor." Blah blah blah, and immediately goes off the deep end and talks about how now she wants to kill Sansa and wear her face. And I'm sitting up there like, are you really? First off, the fact that she got spotted by Peter Baelish, I'm like, are you serious? Like, how? What? She got spotted by Peter Baelish, even though she's supposed to be this badass super assassin now. Okay. All right. All right, and then she gets manipulated into the whole thing of, I'm reading this letter that I'm like, I don't know how she couldn't tell I was a plant, but she reads the letter and says, "Oh well, why didn't you do anything? I would have fought, and I wouldn't have just written that letter, and you got our father killed, and I would have done anything to fight against the Lannisters." And I'm like, see, here we go with the inconsistencies again, because not for nothing, but she didn't do shit to Tywin Lannister. And if I'm not mistaken, even Gendry points out, "Hey, yeah, you could have had anybody killed. Why didn't you have Jack and Hagar kill Tywin Lannister while we were at Harrenhal?" But yet, here she is, talking about she wants to kill Sansa over this whole thing. So, yeah. And then finally, At some point, I guess she has a talk with Sansa and Bran, and there's the whole exposing Littlefinger and let's kill Littlefinger thing that goes on, and yeah, right, so I don't know. I don't know if Arya can be redeemed in season 8. I mean, they're taking till 2019. Hopefully, they write something more consistent. Um, yeah, and fuck it, George, save us, goddamn it! All right, give us the goddamn books, George. Anyway, let's get into questions. And I see I got one from Leslie Powell, and I know I probably had some from way before that I didn't get into, but I wanted to get out my thoughts and not screw around. And shout out to Nick's PK as well. Okay, so from Leslie Powell, what main characters do you think Arya will kill with Caspar dagger next season? Main characters. I don't see Arya killing off any main characters. You know, yeah, I don't see her killing off any main characters. I don't know. Maybe let's. If she decides to go back on her mission to King's Landing, there might be 3 people I could possibly see her killing. Number 1, Melisandre, because Melisandre says that she has to die in Westeros, and Arya has a vendetta against Melisandre, and Melisandre did say that her and Arya would meet again. So Arya could kill Melisandre. Number two could possibly be Qyburn if she gets back to King's Landing. And if she gets back to the King's Landing and kills Qyburn, then I guess the obvious one would be number 3. Number 3, obvious, Cersei. But other than that, I don't know of any other characters that I would bet on her killing in this next season. Unless, I mean, since she's on the whole "you betrayed the family" thing, she could kill Edmure. Edmure opened the gates and let the Lannisters come and take over Riverrun and got Blackfish killed. So she could be like, "Oh, I heard that you let the Lannisters kill the Blackfish. Family duty honor, huh? Yeah, you gonna do family duty honor right here. I got your family duty honor." Yeah, so could be that. Alright, let's see. Next question here from When Debo Breaks Down the Door. Do you feel sympathy for Merritt Frey when Lady Stoneheart kills him in the epilogue of A Storm of Swords? There's too many Freys anyway. And even if he wasn't necessarily there for the Red Wedding, I'm pretty sure he would have been complicit, the Freys are a house full of assholes. So yeah, man, fuck them. Who cares? Yeah, like I said, Merritt Frey wasn't there, but he's still a Frey. He's one of Walder's kids. Walder was an asshole. He raised a family full of assholes. Merritt Frey was going to have to catch it regardless, sooner or later. So, he got what he needed to get. Fuck him. let's see here. Biggie is saying possibly. Guess possibly Jamie. Well, her interacting with Jamie. Okay. Now everybody's on the kill Edmure kick, or at least a few people are. I mean, listen, man. You know what's kind of messed up? Like the actor who plays Edmure, it must just be something about his face, because he just always plays these pathetic kind of characters who always get shitted on. You know, he plays Edmure in this one. In Rome, he played Brutus. And then there was another like movie I saw him in that he played this real kind of pathetic character, and I'm just like, damn, man, like I don't understand. Like, see, look, being someone who's never been cast in any kind of film or television role, I'm wondering, because I know there's archetypes they have, you know, and you have people who might say, okay, I want to be a leading man or a leading lady, but you know, the casting director or whoever is like, yo, yeah, nah, I don't see you as leading man, leading lady. I see you as this person here, you know. So it is, you know, this the guy who plays Edmure, is it just like, I see you, you have a face that looks like you should be picked on. You look like somebody who just gets beat up all the time. You know, you're the guy that people talk down to. You're the guy who no one respects. I see that for you. Oh my god! So like, also, yeah, apparently, so on Outlander, did this same actor? Yeah, see, and that's what I'm saying. You know, and mind you, I've never even watched Outlander, but I've heard about Outlander, and I just remember that guy being in there and seeing a scene, and I forgot what the scene was, but I was just like, here he goes getting disrespected again. He's just like, so maybe he just has that look about him. Like, you were just the guy who was just you're just not to be respected. that's just what your face says. Your face, you have a Rodney Dangerfield face. You get no respect. Okay, so next question from Ricky Hunt. Let's see, Gendria. Is that happen now? For those of you who do not know, Gendria is, you know, Arya and Gendry. Man, okay, so they left out Sansa and Sandor. Romantic undertones were left in Gendry and Arya. Is it because it is important? I don't know. That's I don't know. That is interesting in and of itself. Um, hmm, I don't know, man, because they really haven't given Arya any sort of they haven't given Arya any sort of kind of romantic anything. Like, they haven't given her any romantic inclinations towards anyone other than Gendry, and there was still one of those things where it was like, was it romantic, or was that just her kind of living in the bubble of, um, like, he's my friend, I want to have, you know, because remember, she's still thinking about Michael the Butcher's boy. and it's kind of like Gendry kind of almost seemed like a replacement for Micah. So it could be one of those things where it never was a romantic thing on Arya's behalf. It was always a thing of, well, this is, the new Micah that won't be killed by the Hound kind of thing. So, I mean, as cool as it might be, I doubt it. I doubt anything's going to happen with Gendry and Arya. And yes, Rome, very, very good. Rome was an excellent show. The fact that it only lasted 2 seasons was fucking heartbreaking. I love that show, man. Shout out to AJ YT Abbott. Yo, AJ, what up, man? It's been so long, man. I gotta check out some of your videos. I haven't checked them out in a while, man. That's my bad, man. Alright, so for next question from When Debo Breaks Down the Door, do you think Sansa fell in love with Tyrion on the down low, but wouldn't ever admit it? I mean, Tyrion has all the attributes she's looking for except for being tall. Nah, I'm gonna say no, man. And I say that because, look, at the end of the day, he's still a Lannister. And Sansa hasn't gotten over being shallow. For the books, she's only starting to learn humility right now because she is posing as Littlefinger's bastard daughter, right? And for most of her life growing up, especially because of the way that Catelyn looked at Jon Snow and the fact that he was a bastard, she's always looked down on bastards. And so she really didn't have a lot of humility. So now she's in a point where she's having to be humble, where she's never really had to be humble before. And so the thought of her, at least for the show version, the thought of her possibly falling in love with Tyrion, even on a subconscious level, I don't think it's feasible, just because in the show she didn't have to go through that kind of humbling experience. The humbling experience that she had to go through was totally different. It was more of her being psychologically and physically humiliated by the Boltons for the fact that it was like, okay, you're here, you're stuck here as a prisoner, and I'm going to treat you all kinds of fucked up. And also, you got to remember, Ramsay was previously a bastard. And she's still looking at it like, oh, look, you got this dude who is a bastard who is doing all of this foul stuff to me. So it's one of those things where, because of the fact that it's not necessarily a humbling experience, it's more of an experience of her being humiliated. It's not going to resonate like, okay, well, maybe I need to look past what a person is, in terms of the label. I need to look past the label, because now here in the show, she had someone who had the same label as people that she looked down on, who was doing all of these foul things to her. So for the book version, still, I think we'd have to see what she's like when she comes out on the other side of the Elaine experience. What are her thoughts after that? Is it going to be a thing where she's like, man, now that I've had to play the role of a bastard, I see how hard it must have been for Jon, especially, for the fact that my mom didn't like him, and now, I'm gonna try to treat people better and not just try to look down on people because of a label that's attached to their name. It's not her going through her being tortured and humiliated and raped and being held prisoner. If anything, her humiliation would more so come from, you're not allowed to talk to this person because you're a bastard, or you can't think about having this thing that you would normally want to have because you're a bastard. Oh, you can't, have this nice dress. You don't get to go to this party, or even if you do get to go to the party, you can't sit with these people over here. So, yeah, like maybe in the books we might get something where she subconsciously fell in love with Tyrion. But again, we're not going to find out any of that until we find out what happens to her after her experience in the Vale. Okay, so from Bernie the Burnt ask, Sanrian or Sansan? I'm gonna go Sansan, mainly because if you think about the whole thing, she's actually thought about Sandor and having the whole thing of her misremembering whether or not she got kissed by him, whereas she's not really thinking about Tyrion other than, okay, well, cool, we never consummated our marriage, so Littlefinger says that he's not really my husband, which is kind of cool. All right, so another one from when Debo breaks down the door. Do you think Littlefinger knew Lysa was watching when he kissed Sansa, or was killing Lysa a split-second decision? I think that him killing Lysa was a split-second decision, but he was going to try to find a way to kill her regardless. So even if he didn't necessarily know that she was watching, I'm thinking he was hoping to get caught. So, yeah, I think he would, even if he didn't know that, specifically, like, okay, she's watching, let me do this right now. I think he was hoping that he would get caught, so this way he would have, so that she would do something, so he would have the opportunity to kill her. He wanted her dead. He definitely did want her dead. And I think it was a split-second decision to do it right then and there. But it was like, okay, cool. He always wanted to kill her. He was like, now I got my moment. All right, next one for Ricky Hunt. Do you think Arya warging into cats is important? Shit. And the question just moved. Okay, hold on. Do you think Arya warging into cats is important? I've heard some say it foreshadows her warging into Balerion the Black Cat in King's Landing. Why is Arya always associated with cats? You know what? Well, first off, like, I have absolutely no idea why Balerion the Black Cat would even be remotely important to the story. Because it's like, okay, yeah, we know that this is Balerion the Black Cat. We know that Cersei doesn't like Balerion. We know that Joffrey hated Balerion. But I have no idea why he would be important going forward. As far as her being associated with cats, I think that's just, her final attachment to her mother. Losing her mother was a very tragic event, and it's funny, even though she seemed like she was closer to her father, she still had reverence for her mother because that was her mother. And so I just think it's I just think it's something where it's just like, all right, well, that's part of her family that she wanted to hold on to, and that's the person she kind of chose to latch on to when it comes to that. So, but I could totally be wrong. All right, let's see here. We got any more questions? Got any more? Oh, okay, here we go. Let's see. From when Dero breaks down the door, could you rank the books from best to worst, and why? Books from best to worst, and why? Man. Um. Man. This is a tough one. This is a really tough one because like since I've been doing rereads with the Hype Watch, and in fact we got to reread this Saturday 1 p.m. We're doing the Mountain and Viper. It's actually only gonna be three of us. It's gonna be weird. They're only having like three people on a reread. It might be four. I'm not exactly sure, but it's not gonna be like the big six like we normally do. Um, see, all right, so like I know there's a lot of people who didn't like A Feast for Crows for the fact that uh it didn't have a lot of our major players. Like it didn't have Tyrion, didn't have Jon, didn't have Daenerys. But we got a lot of the Cersei chapters in there, and the Cersei chapters were crazy because we got to see inside of who she was. We got the Walk of Shame. We got the Brienne chapters, which I thought were very reflective of how they were very reflective of how the War of the Five Kings ravaged Westeros, especially in the Riverlands. Yeah, there's like what time? So Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern, Hype's Watch channel, Mountain and the Viper. A Game of Thrones obviously is the book that set it all off. We get our introduction with the White Walkers. We get the birth of the dragons. We get the introduction to Clan Stark. But Walk of Shame was in A Dance with Dragons? I thought that was in A Feast for Crows. I don't know, like, because A Feast for Crows and A Dance with Dragons were all supposed to be one book, but I could have sworn I was in A Dance with Dragons. I mean, A Feast for Crows. But I know that's where we get most of the Cersei chapters, regardless. And then also, remember, in A Feast for Crows is where we get the Sam chapter with Marwyn, which was an awesome chapter. Storm of Swords, we get, the Mountain versus the Viper. We get the Red Wedding, we get the Purple Wedding. Oh, wow, okay, Walk of Shame wasn't A Dance with Dragons, Cersei 2, wow, okay. See, listen, a lot of that stuff, when I was doing my big kind of run-through with that, and I was listening to the audiobooks, just gunning through everything before I was really sitting and analyzing it, I was just kind of, going through it. So after a while, I didn't even realize what book was what. Honestly speaking, man, as good of a question as that is, man, That's too hard for me to answer because there's too much stuff that I like about so many of the books. You know, like there's too many different chapters from each book that I like absolutely love for me to rank the books from best to worst. Because yeah, while there are some chapters I'm kind of like, there are a lot more chapters that I'm like, yo, this shit is fucking awesome. So it's just yeah, it's too hard for me to give a definitive answer on that one right now. All right, from Ricky Hunt, what do you think of all the Arya and Lyanna comparisons? Do you think Arya's story will parallel hers in any way, or Lyanna's in any way? Um, hmm. Nah, because I mean, I don't think George. I think that wouldn't be a little too cliche if George decided to just make hers parallel. I mean, because for one, again, I don't see Arya having any kind of romantic interest. So there's the whole thing with Lyanna running off with Rhaegar. I don't see Arya running off with anybody. Um, two, the warging aspect changes a lot of things. Three, the fact that Arya is assassin that changes a lot of things. So nah, I just don't. I mean, like, yes, she looks like her. Personality wise, she's kind of like her, but I think that's where it ends. I think their experiences have made them too different to for it to ever be parallel. And it looks like Ricky has actually ranked the books. He says number one, Storm of Swords. Number two, Clash of Kings. Number three, Feast of Crows. Number four, A Game of Thrones. Number five, A Dance with Dragons. I'm actually surprised because I know a lot of people will probably disagree with A Feast of Crows uh, being anything higher than number five. Bernie the Burn asks, do you combine The Feast of Crows and Dance with Dragons on rereads? I have not yet. I haven't done the whole feast dance thing. But I want to. I got to see what the chapter order would be for that. Because I know that there are people who have created like a chapter order for that, and you got was it Vassals of Kingsgrave who are doing like the linear rereads, where they actually have taken all of the chapters and broken down in chronological order and are doing them that way. So I actually want to do that one too one day. Where I just go through all of it in chronological order and see like how different things kind of unfold. Okay, next up from Leslie Powell. Do you think the foreshadowing by John about prying needle from Arya's cold hands will come to pass? No, honestly speaking, I don't. I think that I think that Arya will go on to live out her days as a faceless assassin. Oh, shout out to Lord of the Last Hearth, Tony. So you got to bounce. I'll holler at you later. Yeah. So I think that Arya is going to wind up being, faceless assassin. Goes around killing people for money for a very long time. Unless John winds up living forever and becomes the new Night's King and winds up prying that sword out of her hands in like 60 or 70 years after she's died or something, something crazy like that. See what happens. Well, at least King says Assassin's Creed Arya. Yeah, that's what it's seeming like. Definitely what it's seeming like. What the hell just happened? All right. Oh, okay. From Ricky Hunt, why wasn't Arya punished by the Faceless Man for killing Darian, who was the guy from the Night's Watch, who I could not remember his name? Um, I mean, well, I think she was punished. I mean, the whole thing with her being blind was her punishment. And I guess you're talking about why wasn't she like killed for that? I mean, um, I guess it's kind of one of those things where it's like, well, do you really kill someone from breaking the rules that they didn't know existed? I mean, yeah, you could do that, but that was, that would have been kind of foul. Excuse me, man. Cold is trying to creep back. No good. No bueno whatsoever. So, yeah, I mean, that's probably what it was. Oh, next one from Ricky Hunt. Do you believe Quinn's theory that Arya will be the one who burns King's Landing? He says that the ghost of High Heart mentioning Summerhall with Arya foreshadows Arya causing a catastrophe. Um, hmm, interesting. I don't know if I buy into that one. Again, my theory with the whole thing with Arya is that the reason why she's called why um the Ghost of High Heart calls her Dark Heart is to just symbolize her being a faceless assassin, and the whole Dark Heart thing is just it is just a symbolic of like that she's going to be someone who's very cold hearted and kills people without any kind of feeling or remorse about it. So that's my take on that. I mean, like, yeah, I don't necessarily like. I've never heard that theory that I can remember, or maybe I heard it and then I didn't believe it, so I just kind of blocked it out of my head. But yeah, yeah, I'm not really necessarily on that one. All right, next one from When Debo Breaks Down the Door. What major antagonist can you see surviving the Winds of Winter? Major antagonist. Euron Greyjoy. I think Euron has to spend the Winds of Winter causing major havoc, and then maybe gets killed midway through A Dream of Spring. But I think Euron needs to survive. We need to see him do some crazy stuff. Especially now that he's got Valyrian steel armor, because I think we need the legend of Euron with his Valyrian steel armor and him being unbeatable. We need that to permeate throughout the Winds of Winter. So this way, when the Dream of Spring comes around, it's like, all right, cool. We've heard about the legend of the undefeated captain of the 14 seas, Euron Greyjoy. We got to find a way to take him out, and then finally, someone, most likely Jon, probably winds up having to fight with him and chops his head off, and then takes the armor from there. Because it's funny, I actually had a theory before that Winds of Winter chapter came out with Aaron Dampierre, seeing him with the Valyrian steel armor on. I was like, yo, okay, I got a perfect idea, because Jon Snow had the vision or the dream of him armored in black ice fighting the White Walkers on top of the wall. And I was like, yo, that would be crazy if when he comes back to life as Azor Ahai, that he has new ice powers, and he can make black ice armor for himself, and that's why he's able to fight against the White Walkers so good, or something like that. And then that chapter dropped, and I was like, well, there goes the black ice theory. So, yeah, Euron Greyjoy, though. Euron Greyjoy, definitely. Alright, so for Ricky Hunt, if someone is resurrected, does that mean they will not age anymore? You know what? That's... I mean, well, look, as far as I can remember, I think that I think it's kind of said that what's this dude? Beric Dondarrion is still kind of decaying. So while I'm like, damn, if he's still decaying, does that mean he's aging? Yo, that's a crazy question. That is a crazy question. I don't think that anybody has asked that question before. And boy, that question is fascinating to say the least. Wow. Yo, honestly don't even know, man. Like, you actually stumped me with that one. Oh man. Like, yo, you really stumped me with that one. Holy shit. Yeah, I'm gonna have to think on that one, and maybe have to, come back and ask me in another few chats or something, man. Wow, you really stumped me with that one. That's crazy. Yeah, wow, yeah. You know what? I'm gonna have to ponder on that one, man. Remember to ask me in the next one about that. Yeah, that same question again. Wow, yo. I have to do some research now. Alright, so next one from Frank, Way Off Topic Radio. Make sure to check me out on the last one. Arya versus Oberyn. Call back to the last live stream. By the way, like the new hat. Set for the next few weeks. I mean, I got a couple more hats, so So, Arya versus Oberyn. So, if we're talking Arya with all her faceless men training, Arya and all her faceless men training versus Oberyn Martell. Arya versus Oberyn Martell. Arya versus Oberyn. I'm gonna go Arya. Because I think that with the training that she received from the Faceless Men, I think that she would be able to outmaneuver him with some kung fu treachery. I think she would be able to outmaneuver him and get the win. I don't think she would wind up, because while most people would be like, okay, cool, if he cuts me, I'll let him cut me, but I'm gonna wind up taking him down anyway. Arya, I think, might be smart enough to say to, like, yo, I'm not gonna let this dude get any shots on me whatsoever. So I don't know. I think she would probably wind up winning that one. All right, so for Leslie Powell, she's asking if I can do something on the Crypts of Winterfell or the God's Eye in the next one. She said, I feel like a major event will take place in either location. All right, so let's go to the notes. Put that in there. Let's see here. Oh shit! I just realized I missed a request from a while ago from Tony from Lord of the Last Hearth. Yeah, so let's see here. Crypts or sorry, I got to do this now, or else I'm gonna wind up forgetting, because I'll trying to go back to watch this later just to see that one comment will kill me. And yeah, I got to remember to do Shagwell the Fool. I totally forgot about that one. So Leslie, I got it down. So if it's not the next one, it'll be pretty soon. I'll either do the Crypts of Winterfell or the God's Eye. All right, let's see here. Next question from Ricky Hunt. Will there be an 8th book? George's editor said she believes there must be 8 books. He won't be able to finish everything. I guess in 7. Oh man. Damn it, man. Damn it. Why are you doing this to me? Look, I have arguments with Jerry Targaryen Steamboat about this all the damn time. Like, and I don't know if he's, trolling or not. And he's just like, yeah, it's going to be 8 books. And I'm like, yo, stop fucking saying that, you mother. I don't want there to be 8 books, but if that's what needs to be done, it's what needs to be done. Damn it, Ricky. Bringing up 8 books again, man. Trying to forget about that 8 book shit. And Ion trolling was like 9. Damn it, Ion. Stop screwing with me right now. Messing with my emotions, damn it. Not cool. Not cool. Oh man, oh man. she's not cool. Oh, there we go. Finally get rid of those damn notifications. Anyway, yeah, so we got any more questions? Yeah, I went on so long. I went on for way longer than expected. Oh man. Ion Tron says technically George R. R. Martin still hasn't finished Dance with Dragons. Since there was no Dance with Dragons. Oh, come on, you. Instead of it trying to, cause trouble. Always trying to cause. Why are you always trying to cause trouble? That's no fair. That's not cool. Man, oh man. Alright, so when Debo breaks down the door, says George is about to pull another Feast of Crows Dance with Dragons on us and make it Breeze of Winter. Oh my god. The Way Off Topic Radio says, honestly, the books can go 127 volumes and still won't be enough. Now, 127 volumes is just way damn too much, man. People crazy. You lost your damn minds. 127 volumes, Breeze of Winter. No, stop it. Need to have these next two books, and then that'd be it. George said he was going to be retracting the storylines, and he was going to have things get smaller because he was going to have less POV characters, not more. So, damn it, don't listen to George's editor. Yeah, don't listen to George's editor. She has no idea what she's talking about. Now, let me stop that. That's wild disrespectful. Like, no, the person who's involved with the process has no idea what they're saying. Oh, man. What is that? We'll split it into 3 parts. No, man, you gonna stop that. 8 books for 8 kingdoms, or is it 9 kingdoms? Says Ricky Hunt. Man, I'm not messing with y'all. You guys are crazy. You guys are all crazy. You're nut jobs. You're whack jobs. You got problems. You got some serious issues, people. People, stop it. You got issues. Oh, man. Ion Tron says George says that he's writing 5 new POVs in Sartorios. You know what? No. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you? How dare you? Oh man, you guys are crazy. See, now this is the part where things start to get silly because we've just been going on for way too long. So I'm gonna wrap it up because you already know. I still got paperwork to do as always because I always have paperwork to do. I need to get that, get that done. Stop acting like I don't have a job, something. But yeah, look, I'll be back next week. Obviously not on Thursday. Not on Thanksgiving. It's not happening. Perhaps, I don't know. It's either gonna be maybe. Damn. When will we? Perhaps Tuesday or Friday. If it's not Tuesday or Friday, then it'll be next Sunday. Oh, and of course, Alicia is telling me don't forget, um, don't forget to put in the stuff for Ice and Fire Con. Yeah, so for those of you folks out there who are going to be attending Ice and Fire Con, if you have not bought your tickets already, when you do go to the checkout, put in either the promo code HYPE, or the promo code Ginger Ale, and you will get $5 off your ticket, and that's courtesy of Hypeswatch and the Mad Queens. So again, if you are attending Ice and Fire Con this coming April, put in either the promo code HYPE or the promo code Ginger Ale to receive $5 off your purchase price for your ticket. And as always, do not forget to follow me on Twitter. See the name right down there? Because, I will be doing voting as always. I don't know, maybe I might start doing this twice a week. But I've been holding votes for the past couple of weeks as to what characters I will be doing. But you know what? Yeah, again, since I have been doing requests, I do realize that I owe my man Tony from Lord of Last Heart, Shagwell the Fool, and I have now also committed to doing either God's Eye or the Crypts of Winterfell for Leslie Powell. But there will still be votes for the future. And hold on, got one last question here from Ricky Hunt before we go, and it's do you think the scene in the first season where Ned watches Arya sparring with Syria Farrell, and let's see, then the sword sound real at the end with Arya being poked? Okay, I'm lost. Do you think the scene in the first season where Ned watches Arya sparring with Syrio Farrell, then the swords sound real, and ends with Arya? Yeah. Look, I'm thinking Syrio Farrell is dead. Syrio Farrell is dead. I don't think he is someone else. I don't think he's Jack Nagar. I don't think he's been secretly hiding in the slums of King's Landing. Because I think if he wasn't dead, I think we would have gotten some mention. I think we would have gotten some mention of him by Baron Trent. Like, yo, that dude, he somehow bested us and was able to get away. I'm still going to find him and kill him or whatever it may have. I think if Syrio Farrell was still alive, we would have gotten some mention of it. Unless, and this would be the craziest thing, unless Syrio Farrell was a faceless man and now he is posing as Meryn Trant. So, think about that one right there. That one might be a little crazy. What if? Oh man, maybe I should do that as like a tinfoil theory that Syrio Farrell is Meryn Trant. But then again, if he was Meryn Trant, I don't know that Syrio Farrell, if he is a faceless man, unless he's really just playing out the act, would be beating on Arya. I mean, not Arya, on Sansa, because Meryn Trant is the one who beats on Sansa at the orders of Joffrey. So I don't know. Who knows? It would be interesting, but it would also be pretty messed up. From Angel Reed, how do you think Syrio? How could Syrio die to that guy? Armor or not, he had no skill. Remember, Mirren Trent, the King, well, not even just Mirren Trent, but the King's Guard is supposed to be the finest knights in the kingdom or whatever, so they have to be pretty good swordsmen. Shout out to Marilyn Bentley. Come on, you're showing up all late and stuff. I'm about to get out of here. Yeah, but the King's Guard is supposed to be some of the best knights in all the Seven Kingdoms. So I don't know. Maybe Meryn Trent is a lot more skilled than we give him credit for, because we only hear about how skilled Syrio Forel is. We don't hear about Meryn Trent. So I think sometimes we might get lost in the whole thing of, okay, we hear about how good this particular person is. We don't hear about how good this other one is. So that means that they're not good. I mean, like, we didn't hear about how good Ned Stark was, but Ned Stark went toe-to-toe with Jaime Lannister, and we hear about how good Jaime Lannister is all the time. So, we'll see. And as far as Boris Black, I don't know. No idea. Angel Reed's asking if I did one of these for Theon. You know what? Let me check. I've been, like, it's crazy. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, I've been doing these for a few months now. It's kind of crazy. I hadn't even realized how long I had been doing these damn things. Let's see here. Video manager. So no, I definitely did Euron. Let's see here. Yes, I have done Theon Greyjoy. I did that back in September. Wow, 2 months ago. That's crazy. Didn't even realize I've been doing these that long. But how long did I start doing these? I started doing Ice and Fire opinions back in sorry, still waiting for this thing to load up. June. First one I did was June 1st, and that was Catelyn Stark. Wow. And yes, Meryn Trent, Boris Blunt, and Osmond Kettle Black shouldn't have been members of the Kingsguard because they are dickheads. So, yeah. Let's see here. You know what? Since you're asking about Theon, let me put the link to Theon in the chat. This way you can go and check that one out after I'm finished here. As soon as this damn thing loads up, I'm just gonna go to the actual. Of course not. Why does it do that? Alright. 1 second. Copy the link for you. Damn it. Stop it. Alright. That's the link for Theon in the chat. Let's see here. Who am I covering next week? No, I'm still gonna do one next week. Obviously not on Thanksgiving, but possibly on either Tuesday or Friday. Because Wednesday, I imagine I will be spending most of the day prepping for Thanksgiving. I actually do a fair amount of cooking myself, so I'll probably be doing a lot of prep work on Wednesday. On Wednesday. So I could possibly do something on Tuesday. It'll probably look a hell of a lot different because I'm not going to be dragging all my damn camera gear. Well, not camera gear, but like, screen lighting stuff. Yeah, so. And if I don't do anything either Wednesday or, either Tuesday or Friday, then I'll do something on Sunday. Because Saturday, I'm going to be traveling back home from out of town. So, but the next one, I owe Tony from Lord of Last Hearth. So that will be Shagwell, aka Shagwell the Fool. I believe it's Shagwell the Fool. I gotta read up on it again because, so many characters. Sometimes some of that stuff gets lost. All right. Anyway, look, I'm getting the hell out of here. It is 10:30 right now. I'm way later than I expected. Been almost 2.5 hours. These videos sometimes get longer and longer, but I absolutely enjoyed, doing all this stuff with you guys. If it wasn't for me getting to interact with you guys in the chat right now, I might not still be doing any videos because I just haven't been inspired. Yeah, but now listen, I'll see you guys next week. Obviously, not on Thanksgiving. And Shagwell is a character from the books. Angel, he's not someone from the show. Yeah, listen, you guys already know the deal. And like I said before, this coming Saturday, 1 p.m., make sure to check out the Hype Squad channel. We will be doing a breakdown of the Mountain versus the Viper, Tyrion's trial by combat from A Storm of Swords. And, I will be back next week sometime with another one of these, Shagwell, and I don't know, maybe I might go to 2 times a week. I'll see. If I'm feeling it, then that's what I'll do. All right. So I'd like to thank everyone who came and joined me. And I can't even talk right. It's been so damn long I've been talking. But yeah. I'd like to thank everyone who joined me tonight. I'd like to thank everyone who will watch later on. And thank you for keeping me inspired to do all this stuff. All right. So, you already know the deal. Rate, comment, subscribe, share, tell your friends, and come back for more. That has been my time, and this is Don Willie saying, Valador Harris. See you next week.